Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spooky Japan Podcast. We're still getting the swing of things after a 2 week break. Today, we do have a very lovely guest to help us out, and they're the team manager from Provoke Paranormal. How are you doing today?
Hi, doing good. How are you, ladies?
We're doing pretty good here. So, for everyone out there who doesn't know who you are, how would you introduce yourself?
My name is Sarah Russell. Nickname is Squeakers. I am the team manager, branding manager for Provoke Paranormal. We are a community of 1,400 members, and we're growing every day. We have a growing team now as well, so that's been fun to try to create. Um, but I am the team manager for Provoke.
Okay, so how did your paranormal journey begin?
Probably when I was about in my teenage years. I had a lot of different things go on in a couple houses I lived in, which sparked my interest for all the paranormal and beyond things that I'm in. And I guess it just kind of stuck.
Where has been your favorite place to investigate so far?
So far, I wouldn't call it a favorite place, but most interesting place was in La Crosse, Washington, and that place was something else. It actually split my team up that I had, and it was just really an interesting place.
Okay. What has there been any place so far that's been maybe like too scary for you?
Um, I wouldn't say scary, but like I said, the house in La Crosse, Washington was probably the most interesting for me in my own journey.
What has been your most interesting experience so far?
Probably getting along with everybody. Um, you know, it's been an interesting journey, and I love meeting new people.
I love meeting new people in paranormal too, but I also understand what you're saying with trying to get along with everyone. Like I don't know why that just feels like there's a lot of negativity in the paranormal world. Hopefully that's not affecting your team too much.
No, no, it's not. But um, it's just been interesting.
What is your favorite What's your favorite piece of equipment that you use on paranormal investigations?
I like the K2 meters. They're the most handy, and you can just pull them out from anywhere, and they're pretty easy to use.
I think one thing and one piece of equipment I don't enjoy using for me is the laser lights. That's just my personal opinion and experience. I've used the laser light several times on investigations, and it's never added anything. And I've talked to other people who said it's never added anything to investigations either. If you're not familiar with the lights, obviously like that light you shine, the laser grid. It's supposed to, if you see a spirit move, it's supposed to cut the grid, but I've never had it happen yet.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah. Is there a place that what is on your bucket list for paranormal investigations?
I really would like to go to Seattle, Washington, my hometown, and investigate their tunnels and a couple different places there. Pike Street Market being one of them. I would love to go and do that.
I don't know if I heard of it. What are the tunnels? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
The tunnels, the underground tunnels over there, there was an earthquake years ago that um, that crushed a bunch of the town, and there, which made the tunnels. And I can't remember exactly everything that they say about it, but it sounds like fun to go into. And I was there once when I was a kid, but it'd be interesting to go and investigate.
That does sound like it would be interesting to go and investigate. Have you done any of the bigger locations?
I have not,
Not yet.
um, not yet.
Some of them are always on my bucket list, but it's just also the pricing of trying to get into some of these places are not easy to do.
That's true.
What's the farthest you've traveled to in an investigation?
Um, probably again, it would have had to have been to La Crosse, Washington. It was the farthest I've traveled to. I plan on traveling here in the future, though, to a few different places. So it's gonna be fun.
That sounds like fun, especially I would love to do one day a paranormal road trip to different locations.
Yeah, I love road trips, especially the paranormal road trips, because you never know what goes on in the middle of them.
Right. Yeah, here in Japan though, you can't really do that because as we'll tell you, Japan is different when it comes to the paranormal. It's not spoken about. And you can't book an investigation. You can't just book somewhere for an investigation, go do it, unfortunately. It's almost pretty taboo here with it.
That's interesting.
Yeah. When I first came here, I was so excited. I'm like, I can't wait to tell people I investigated in Japan, all these cool locations. And then I started looking into it, and I'm like, why can't I find any locations to book? And it's just because it's not like United States or the UK. You can't, which
Right.
really sucks. And I don't want to also do the urbex exploring here because in America, if you get caught doing that, usually it's a ticket and a fine. Here is 3 years in jail, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to go to jail for 3 years to try to investigate. I'm not risking that.
Yeah, I would agree on that part.
I was like, I know I've done the urbex scene before when I was younger, but now when you get older, you're like, yeah, I'm not risking that, especially
Yeah,
not here.
exactly.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we can't just go. I mean, you can go to public places, but with it being taboo, I couldn't really. You also can't really have the equipment just because so much interference. If you do catch like a voice, I can't prove that it's not from someone nearby in like the park. Even though I say, "Oh, I'm alone," it could be like, "Well, maybe you just didn't see the person. You are in a park."
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of how it is here too. It's really hard because if you go to the park, which I have been at parks before for investigations, you never know who's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because like, yeah, I can't prove there's not someone there interrupting because unfortunately, like I said, it is a public place. You can't book private places, so you can't fully, truly prove that there's no one else maybe hiding around and wanting to mess with you. You can't prove that, or maybe someone walking by you just didn't see.
Right.
Because Irene has done the. You've been to the Hiroshima building, Irene.
Mm-hmm.
The Hiroshima building,
Mm-hmm. It's a trade building.
the trade building.
Mm-hmm. There was a
Yeah,
lot of people around, but I managed to get it done anyways. I didn't care. Like, I really don't care if anybody's watching me. I don't care if anybody's seeing me. I don't care if anybody says anything. I'll do what I want to do, and I'll do it that way. And if you
you
ask them,
also didn't have equip. well, she also doesn't use equipment because she's a clairvoyant. So
I don't need equipment.
no, she is the equipment. Unfortunately, if you don't believe in clairvoyance or gifts, which we find a lot of people do not,
Yeah,
they
they
don't
call.
believe her. You can't prove, and when you're clairvoyant, you can't prove what you see.
No,
No, it's hard. It's really hard.
but there are people watching that could see what I could see, and they acknowledged it. So in the chat, so I'm fine. I'm
And
good
then
with that.
obviously the people that don't have the gift are just like you're lying.
Yeah, and I got that before too, so I don't care. I really don't care. It's up to you. You want to believe it, that's fine. If you don't want to believe it, that's fine too. I don't really. It doesn't really bother me. Um. So
That's also what
Well,
I
and
tell people.
that's the mindset we have to have
yeah,
because people don't believe us, and
yeah,
that's
that,
okay.
yeah. That's okay too, But that's why you can't go near the building. You're outside with a gate all the way around you, so it's monitored, right? So if you get caught going through the gate, you'll be you'll you'll be prosecuted for sure. So you just have to behave yourself and do it outside the gate. Um, they don't want anybody trampling anywhere near these sites, so that's why they have a huge gate across it, and that's why it's like that. Even in certain paranormal places here, they're all gated off, and they make an excuse like there's rocks falling in the cave or something like that. I just don't think that's true. I just think that they don't want you near the area. That's why. And I know it's full of baloney. I know it's baloney. So
If anything is considered haunted, they definitely block it off in
yeah,
Japan. Japan, like I said, it's so funny when it comes to the paranormal. It's so taboo to talk about. There's also you cannot also research any property like you can in the United States. Like, oh, I can go to the library and look up previous owners or who died in that location
yeah.
or look up the vital records. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
any of that here in Japan.
Mm-mm. If the dead,
That's
the
interesting.
Yeah, so everything here in Japan is the word of mouth. So usually, and Irene can also tell you, you find an elder who knows who's willing to tell the story or the background of it of a location.
and if they had anything written down, they probably scrapped it or shredded it in the machine, right? So yeah, they just don't want any. They acknowledge it's haunted, right? But they don't want anything else to do with it other than that because it's they're afraid of it coming after people, and people are afraid of spirits coming after them. So they'd rather not have anything to do with it. But they acknowledge it exists.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's acknowledged here, but it's also like the paranormal is pretty much ignored here. We don't
Yeah.
also have any like Bigfoot hunters here, and I kind of
No.
wish we did because we have at least thousands, it seems, of cryptids here. We
Yeah.
don't have anyone investigating them to learn any further, so we don't actually know if they're cryptids or the scientists are not wasting their time, energy, resources, whatever, to go out and do any studying. Like I said, we also don't have Bigfoot hunters willing to go to locations and try and research them like people like the United States does. The best thing
Ex-
that science says is, especially in my area, I'm in Nagasaki, which is in the bottom of Japan. It's more country. Obviously, in
yeah.
Nagasaki, I'm near the Nagasaki bombing, and then the north of me is also the Hiroshima bombing. Scientists believe, like, oh, it's probably either a person or an animal or something got to the radiation from the bombing and created what looks like a cryptid.
That's
They,
interesting to hear too.
they
Yeah,
even said that even Godzilla existed too. Also, they
yeah.
said that
It's
too.
that Godzilla was believed to actually exist at one point.
Yeah, and they probably said it existed in the mountains, someplace, near the volcanoes. So yeah, and um, they're wondering. how much of it is urban legend and how much of it is truth, but they're going more towards the truth. The only reason why that we don't have anybody researching it because funding for this research costs a lot of money, and people don't want to research something that's frightening and scary or weird because they don't think nobody would believe them about that. That's why. So you don't feel any. So you don't see anybody who wants to put out a lot of money for that.
Well, that's kind of like I don't want to get off the subject here, but that's kind of like all the Grimm stories that we grew up with from our childhood.
Yeah.
The Three Little Bears, the
Yeah.
Three Little Pigs. There's
Yeah.
stories about them being real. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. And
but
read around the Rosie. Remember that one? That one's another one
hmm
that has a lot to do with the plague that went around.
Yeah, that's what that is actually about. The Muffin Man
Yeah.
is about a serial killer.
Yeah. That one too. Muffin Man. Yeah. That one also. There's another one. Bloody Mary. Right. Oh,
yep,
there's so many of them.
there is so many of them, and with that being said, it's just always somebody had to have seen something or to even dream something about it to
Just
come up
wondering.
with these stories and these creatures. So there's got to be some sort of truth to it.
Yeah, that's how it is in Japan. And there's also, because we've talked about, sometimes we're gonna do episodes talking about haunted places in Japan or urban legends or even cryptids, but we're also saying if you look at a lot of the cryptids, there's going to be a couple episodes at least of us going, because a lot of them, like I said, we don't have any research. It's just a
No.
bunch of people claiming in an area to see one particular one particular creature. Unfortunately, since no one wants to go out and investigate it,
Yeah.
all you have is the area where it was said to be found and what it looks like. So I'm like, here's this said to be around here. It looks like this. That's all we have, and there's
Yeah.
tons of that.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
like, we can't tell you more because no one else knows more, and everyone just kind of turns around and walks away when I see this thing.
Or they don't want to deal with it, or they think that it's gonna come after them, so they'd rather. Okay, it's there. Yep, that's fine. See ya. Bye. And like everyone walks this way. We're gonna walk this way. Bye. And like we're gonna go about left. See ya. It's been like that for a long time here. I think it got worse as young people get more educated and older people are dying out. So the urban legends are kind of like it's a dying breed to find anything or to believe in it, and only the older people really do believe in it, and they believe in spirits too. But the younger people really don't want to have anything to do with it because they're too scared about it. Um, they're they just said, "Yeah, not going to talk about it." But the older people have more knowledge and really have more sense, or they're more sensitive to spirits or to cryptids or to anything else more than younger people, because younger people say, "Oh yeah, that's just crazy. Oh, you got dementia, old man, or you don't know what you're talking about." So it's pretty hard. It's a dying story. It's a dying breed of people who will really talk about spirits, um, entities, shadow figures, or whatever in this country.
I think TikTok and YouTube is also kind of not helping the situation when it comes to the younger folks and why they don't really believe in the paranormal, because they're so used to scrolling through TikTok and someone's faking evidence just for the views and the likes and the follows. So I think at that point they're just like, that's also why I don't think they believe in it more like the older folks who grew up with the actual tales or seeing stuff, because we didn't have the TikTok or YouTube to watch and see clearly fake evidence now.
But it's funny,
Yeah.
all the Japanese investigators are all on TikTok. They're not on YouTube. The reason why is because they're not afraid of getting caught, or they're not afraid of getting canned from their job. So they're all hiding out on TikTok.
But they're doing it for the views, Irene. That's why I call them TikTok
Yeah.
investigators. Where unfortunately
Yeah.
there is real people
Yeah.
trying to get out there known to be able to
Yeah.
help more people if
Yeah.
they need it. But unfortunately, there's also a lot of people out there
I
who's
saw a couple of them running
faking
around.
evidence, just trying to be able to.
Yeah.
There's people out there faking the evidence just for the views, likes, and comments, and that's just why the younger people are just like, I don't believe in the paranormal unless I see an apparition in front of me myself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's like even in paranormal investigations, I wish that that's what happened, but more than likely you're not gonna see a full apparition right in front of you.
No.
Right.
As much as we all would love for that to happen, it's just probably it's not gonna happen. You might get other
No.
evidence, but it's never enough now for the younger
Or
generation.
you might even get a voice, or even a knock on the wall or door, or that's about it, right? Unless you stand there all night and see if you see anything.
But
But
even then, they're
yeah.
probably who knows what the spirit's gonna do. And that's also one thing we say is we all could investigate the same place on different nights. We're gonna get different things, have different experiences.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that though too. You go into a haunted location, whatever happens with me, it's not gonna happen with you.
Mm-hmm.
Vice
Exactly.
versa. I'm just like also when people don't really get any evidence, and then they start comparing themselves to someone else, or they got more evidence and someone else really didn't in that same location. Like, oh, clearly I'm a better investigator, and we're just like that's not the case. It just means you had a better night. That means for some reason the spirit's just more cooperative that night for whatever unknown reason. Either they liked your energy more or they just they just want to interact more. Who really knows? That's also what we say is sometimes, you people on a team might remind them of might remind a spirit of a loved one or someone they knew.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Oh, I want to go
Yep.
see Squeakers because Squeakers looks like my whatever." And like
Yeah.
sometimes also the spirits just have nights where they just like, "Ah, I don't feel like doing this."
I'm not gonna do this anymore. Or these people are kind of dumb, or these people are weird. Like, nope, not do this. I'm
I
not
like how
coming
you
out.
put that, Henry.
Not coming out. Forget it. Or these people have
Probably
too
like,
much baggage.
yeah,
Nope.
sometimes they're a human one. So sometimes they're just like, "How many times do I have to answer, 'Are you here?'"
Yeah. Like, what do you think, right?
Like, "I don't feel like doing this tonight."
No. Like, I'm just gonna go back and do whatever I want to do. I'm not gonna stand up here and listen. Are you here? How old are you? What is your name? Like, whatever. Like, what do you think, right? My name is Joe Blow, right? Yeah. And that's what you hear, that spirits don't always tell the truth. They can lie too, so they can say whatever they want to say, and either you believe it or not. So that's true too. So
Mhm.
yeah, it just depends, and
Yeah.
and yeah, and your energy too. When you go in there, do you have baggage? Are you thinking about something else? And if so, yeah, get rid of it before you go in there.
They know you're coming there before you even leave your house, is what we say. And
Yeah.
also, we can tell, like, there was a
Yep.
place back in America I used to investigate all the time with different groups of people. And you go to the same spot over and over again, you start kind of getting to know the spirits. And you also can tell in a group
Hmm.
who is going to have a better experience or they're going to interact with
Hmm.
more. And I've
Hmm.
said this, and someone with a haunted location said that's funny because one of my tour guides said the exact same thing. Is they've been doing it for so long,
Hmm.
they can look at a group and they already know by the energy if
Hmm.
they're gonna have an active if they're probably gonna have an active night or not.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
In that location, I even if I could tell, like, okay, these spirits are not gonna like this energy. I have no problem going out and being by myself or grabbing the people. I'm like, okay, maybe them. But other than that, I'm like, yeah, I'll just split up because I was like, I already know I can tell, and I'm usually am right because like there've been groups where the people I was like, they're not gonna like their energy. Did not get a thing when me and whoever got bunch of different evidence. They couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I can just tell by your evidence. Sorry, by your energy, your attitude. And a lot of people also forget that your attitude going in there too.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've had it to where I've had three spirits at one time trying to get a hold of me, but only one spirit would talk at that moment. And I honestly, I think it also had to do with energy wise because I apparently met well with this energy level of this spirit, and she decided to actually talk to me, um, which in that case was really strange. But um, at that moment, I actually got some information and I relayed it to the person. And the moment their eyes locked on mine, I was like, yep, that's exactly what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's also people forget, like I said, not just your energy, but your attitude going into place. Like, this is why trying to find the right team together is not easy to do because it's not just about chemistry, but also making sure everyone is respectful when they investigate. And some people just go in there and are just not serious about it, or they just go in there and start, making fun of the spirits, thinking they're gonna get more evidence. I'm like, you're just annoying. You're just annoying them. I'm like, why is I don't know why that's a lot of investigator solution. I'm gonna go in there and pick on the spirit and try and make this thing mad, thinking it's gonna all of a sudden because it's mad or angry at me, it's just gonna start doing more things. And I'm like, you might have made someone extremely nice,
Yeah.
extremely violent, or they get met, or it depends. Either they're gonna get violence or they're just gonna move. The spirit's just gonna move on to a different room. Like, nope, I'm not gonna listen to you.
Yeah. Or they could get their butt kicked. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone else said they're in an investigation. They might not take it out on you, but someone else in the group because they knew someone who was trying to call out a spirit, make fun of it, might try and make it
Yeah.
angry, and attack someone else in the group
Yeah.
because the person was just like, "Hi, I got my protective stuff. You can't get to me," so it just got to someone else in the group.
Yeah.
It's like I don't
Yep,
why. Why was this also your first instinct to go in there and start yelling at it?
Yeah. But they're
exactly.
buttheads. They really have no brains or no conscience about it. They don't have anything. So they'll do anything just to get a rise out of it. In the end, they get a rock thrown at them, or they'll get something nasty happens, or they'll get sick. One of the three happens, right?
Or badly scratched?
Yeah, or you can get bitten too.
I was
Like,
investigating a place that had a male spirit who they warned he will not do anything unless you start yelling at him or whatever, trying to get him angry at you.
yeah,
Just don't.
yeah,
And they warned someone and they didn't listen and they started yelling at him, cussing at him, just trying to saying everything they could to make him angry. And all of a sudden they the person heard screaming and they ran over to that room, and
yeah,
they were the spirit had them by the throat, choking them. The person was
yeah,
up here.
yeah,
Like, we warned you.
yeah,
Don't yell at him.
yeah.
Is usually in one room. Like, no, don't do it in that room. He did it.
You know, that's why I quit helping people when they go through the cemetery, because I'd warned him, don't go near that tree, and he went near that tree and he got scratched on his leg, and then he got injured. And I said, yeah, I told you not to do that, right? But everyone else said, go do it. I said, you dumbass. But yeah, I just said, forget it. We're not doing this anymore. And I said, I'm not doing this anymore because people are gonna say the most dumbest things, and I warned them not to do it, but they did it anyways. Oh well, there you go. Have fun. You know, it's just actually it's really stupid, right?
Mhm.
And people can be stupid,
You
especially
can't
if they
help
don't.
everyone who
No, no, no.
you can't help everyone who specifically do what you tell them not to do.
Yeah, because they're gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about
That's
here.
also
Yeah,
that's also why one thing I tell people is be careful who you investigate with, because
yeah,
one person messing up and breaking the rules can get the whole entire group banned from that haunted location.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I have no
Or
problem.
or if you're blessing a house and somebody's not on the same key as you, that can
yeah,
go really badly.
yeah,
Irene's can tell you she's had to stop helping certain clients just because they're not fully honest with her. And
yeah,
we say if you're gonna have your house blessed, we always say think of talking to a clairvoyant as you would a doctor, where
yeah.
you have to tell them the truth and be honest for them to properly identify what's going on and properly help you.
Oh,
Yeah.
they played with a Ouija board, right? They didn't tell me. My friend told me, and they didn't come clean with it. I said, okay, fine. I'm not doing their house anymore. I'm not going to help them. And that's it. I'm done. So I just quit. I don't know what happened to them. But yeah, I quit. You don't want to come clean with me? That's fine too. I don't have to play this game either. So I said, okay, I'm done. And they never said anything to me afterwards. In fact, their house burned down. Oh well, what the hell, right? Serves you right.
And it's only she didn't help them not because of the Ouija board, but because they would not be honest with her about
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
going on.
Plus the Ouija board, and plus they let something through, and they didn't put it back, and they didn't close the door. They just left it open because they were playing with it. Yeah, not good, not good. I said, how can I put it back now? I can't put it back. You have to put it back yourself.
This
Yeah,
is why I hate dealing with teams who don't properly do their research. Their research
yeah,
is movies or what they saw on TV.
yeah,
We're like,
yeah.
that's not realistic.
No.
We've and I've talked to several people who's had a haunted house.
Hmm.
They had a paranormal team come out,
Yep.
and the paranormal team made it worse. And people don't realize
Yeah.
that. If you
Yeah.
don't properly do your research before you going in there thinking you're doing what you're doing, you can make the situation so much worse.
Yep. And then you have
Yeah.
to go in there. You have to clean up what they made, and then you have to fix everything else and put it back, and then you have to go in and remove it. So you're doing double the work, right?
Yeah, and a lot of these teams not only made whatever was in that house more angry,
Hmm.
but they added spirits to it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
do your research if you're going to go to someone's house to do this, because they should not be having to call another team
Yeah.
to clean up whatever you did.
Yeah.
Exactly. I had
That's
a person do that one time, and she didn't tell me she had other teams involved in it before I went and did it.
Mhm.
And then afterwards, like years later, I found out about it, and I wasn't too happy about that because that kind of made me feel like I did something wrong when I didn't, when it was them that didn't tell me exactly the honest truth about it. So,
That's why we tell people you gotta be on. You gotta be honest with paranormal investigators. Try and come
Yeah,
in and help you,
yeah,
so we
yeah,
fully know. It's not that we're gonna. It's not that we're gonna judge you or not
nope,
help you. It's just we just need to know so we know what we're
yeah,
so we know kind of our approach and what we're dealing with compared
yeah.
to just going in blind and trying to figure it out.
I had a house in Alabama that I did, and the lady was really nice, and she told me that she had one team in there who tried to help her. They said, "Well, we can't help you. See ya." And I said, "What? What?" I said, "What? What?" And she goes, "Yep." And I said, "Oh my God." The reason why they couldn't help her was because there was a guy buried in the wall, in the drywall. He was dead. He was strangled in the drywall, and actually the homeowner, she didn't want to dig. Her husband and her didn't want to dig him out, take him out of the drywall. If they took him out, it would have been better if they did that. But they're flipping the house the way it is right now with the guy in the drywall. But yeah, I mean, gee whiz, like, okay, I've helped you. I've done as much as I could do, and it's up to you. And she goes, "Oh well, we're gonna leave him in the drywall." I go, "Okay, yeah." I mean, he's gonna come in and out of the wall anyways, no matter what they do. So, yeah, you could take my advice. You can do whatever you want. That's fine too. But I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, right?
Mhm.
You really can't. It's up to the homeowner.
Yeah, and that's also one thing we say. It's up to the homeowner how
Yeah,
much we can help them.
yeah.
mhm.
But you say it's your house. Tell them to get out of your house. And they said, "Why do I have to do that? Because it's your house, not mine. You know, I don't own it. You own it." And they go, "Ah, okay. Do I really have
Power
to
of
tell?"
authority.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't want to do that. But you have to, right? And some people say, "Well, I want to leave them there." You can't leave them in your house. Then don't
Why'd you
call me.
call me?
Yeah, why'd you call me if you're gonna do that? Well, because I thought you were kind of nice to have me around. I go, "Okay, yeah, see ya, bye."
Don't call someone to help you and then be like, I don't actually want them gone.
Yeah, I don't get that. Do you? Nope.
Anyways,
It's
I know you had a short time with us, and I do appreciate you being with us
yeah,
today.
yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Okay,
And everyone who's watched, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.